Hello and welcome to the Noted Podcast. I am your host Daniel and your other host Eric is with me.
Hello.
And today we are going to be doing Moon Knight Ep.6. That is right.
Yay, you got the number right.
And it is Steven, not Simon.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was last week.
3 or 4 times.
That wasn't me. But yeah, we are
alternate Dan number 2.
It was alternate Dan number 4. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Dan variant.
And so yeah, this is the final episode of the Moon Knight, and I am really excited to talk about this.
Sweet.
So before we jump too into detail, overall thoughts.
Oh, you get it first. You go for it.
Okay, so they did a lot I liked and did a lot I didn't like. That is my overall thought of this final episode.
Same.
I really loved the fact that Layla didn't become the Moon Knight.
Same. That
Layla, she became the Hippo Goddess's avatar, and who knows, she might keep it, she might not. Are you an
Egyptian superhero? Yeah.
Which I thought was super cool.
I love that.
And even though her costume, like with the wings were
Falcon.
A little, yeah, like
that's all it made me think of was Falcon.
Falcon with real superpowers and healing abilities, so a real hero.
Yeah, so a real Falcon.
Yeah. It made me think of like Hawk Girl from DC.
Oh yeah, that's another one too.
But I much prefer her being her own hero than Moon Knight.
Yeah.
As an empathetic person for Mark and Steven, I am happy that they gave up the
one ticket to paradise.
Like I'm happy they gave up Khonshu and got out of that deal. Like, good for them. But also, does that mean Disney Marvel's just gonna do like a one-off Moon Knight and then leave the hero into rot? Like,
no.
Come on, like, I love this hero. Don't just like not do anything with him, you know?
Well, did you see the end credit?
I didn't.
Oh my god, Daniel, who are you? Have you ever watched a Marvel movie?
I have.
What are you doing?
I just assume that the TV shows don't have end credit. Okay,
there's an end credit.
Spoil it for me.
I won't. Oh, no, spoil it for you?
Yeah, spoil it for me. Tell me what it is.
We meet Jake Lockley.
We do? Oh.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next... That was going to be my next complaint. That was going to be my next complaint. Okay, tell me.
So, we get to see Harrow, whatever you want to call him, in the institution, except he's crazy this time. For some reason. They've switched spots pretty much. And so a person comes up behind Harrow and it's just like, oh, no, I'll take care of him, you know? Mm-hmm. And so you see him like wheel out this guy, and there's like Harrow's like looking around the hallways. It's like the same asylum that you see Mark and Steven running through. And Harrow's looking around. There's just like a bunch of dead bodies everywhere. Well, not like a bunch. There's like 2. But then he takes him out to a white like stretch limo, and he gets in the limo, and Khonshu's sitting in the limo, all like suited up, kind of like Steven's Moon Knight, right? So he's like a normal human looking body.
Khonshu?
And then Khonshu is.
Okay.
And he's just like blah 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 blah, kind of monologues, and he's like, yeah, but what Mark and Steven don't know is that I have a friend here with me, Mr. Jake Lockley. And then he taps the window, and then it's, of course, Mark/Steven, but his third personality, Jake Lockley. He's got a kind of gangster I think he speaks Italian, but I'm not sure what language he spoke at the end, but it wasn't English. And then he pulls out a pistol with a silencer and like pops him like 3 or 8 times.
Just straight up caps
Harrow in the limo, and then they drive off. And that's the end scene. So Khonshu is still in a contract with Mark and Steven, but it's through Jake. and
Oh,
not through those
wow.
two. So he's still using Mark's body without him knowing.
Okay, well, I am happy about
Right?
that. Okay, sorry, Mark and Steven, I'm sorry for you, but also as a Marvel fan, I'm happy to see Moon Knight. I am a little sad that it took an end credit scene for them to actually introduce Jake. I mean, I'm glad we got it, because that was going to be my next complaint, was that the fact that they Deus Ex Machina...
They hinted at it and then never gave it to us.
Yeah, they Deus Ex Machina our hero out
Facts.
of a situation through Jake, but then never explained who he was or what happened.
Yeah, no. There's definitely going to be another season.
And I wasn't about that, to be honest. Like, even with the end credit scene, it's like, oh, cool, but also, like, they pretty much just fast forwarded the main battle.
They did.
Which, honestly, like, for a show that's had fight scenes every episode, this is the one time I want your fight scene to be longer.
But they spent all their big marketing budget, like action budget, on Godzilla versus Skeleton.
Dude, that was so
pretty
cool.
Fucking cool.
That was so cool.
Honestly,
so,
like the whole thing,
it, dude.
the whole season made me go, this is pretty cool. I like this. And then when I got to see giant monsters fighting each other, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And you also have to think of how many, imagine how many people they killed.
Imagine how many people just looked up and saw just a big Crocodile Dundee fighting Birdman. Skeleton Birdman, be like,
I want to know what Khonshu looked like.
What the hell's going on?
What drugs did I just take? No. I want to know what Khonshu looked like before he turned into a skeleton.
Yeah,
because when Amit, she's like, time hasn't treated you well. And I was just like, did he actually look like a bird? Like, I wonder if he's like a raven.
Ooh, that would make... Well, and also, like, Raven would make sense. And also, we know the gods didn't bind him to a statue like they did to Amit, but they did, like, banish him. Yeah. So maybe when they banished him, like,
he turned into that?
Yeah, he lost some of
Well,
that
no, because Amit
form.
was banished.
No.
She was sealed.
Amit was sealed, yeah, because they talked about how Khonshu was...
That would make sense. Yeah, no, that would make sense.
Banished in the beginning, and like how he wasn't one of accepted by the gods anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved. So what we're talking about is during the main fight, we have Steven and Mark fighting as the Moon Knight, which, by the way, their switcheroos throughout the battle was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it when they actually showed them switching and not just like, oh, we're going to pan to a different direction and then switch. It's like, ugh, fuck that. That's so stupid. Just show the switch.
Yeah, I preferred when they showed the switching.
Yeah.
But their switcheroos, super cool. And then Layla was fighting in her hot girl uniform. And they're fighting Harrow. And then in the background while they're fighting, you have Mega Khonshu versus Mega Amit.
Yeah.
Which was so cool.
I don't understand how Khonshu grew to that size, because she grew to that size from like absorbing souls. Like she was sucking in people's souls and she got that big. Yeah. I don't understand how Khonshu did.
That is a very solid point that I did not think about.
Thank you. Like I noticed that she was like, right? And then all of a sudden Khonshu's just like, oh no, fuck.
When Khonshu did grow, I was like, why hasn't he done that before?
Yeah, why didn't he just kill all of them like that? Just
yeah, like that was my first thought, but then I was just like, whatever. Like he was trying to be stealthy. I didn't think about like, could he do it?
Did you also? I don't know if you noticed this, but did you also like how they moved slower?
Khonshu and Amit?
Yeah. Okay, so like most of the time when we see giants fighting, they just move the same speed.
Oh yeah, no, they were
as
slow-mo.
us.
Yeah.
But they were like in slow motion because they're like bigger mass. So like they have to move slower, but of course like to them it's still relevant speed. It made me so happy, dude, to see them moving in slow motion and actually look at like the impact and not just like two big huge beasts like duking it out. like in Godzilla versus King Kong. Like, it was just beasts moving at our speed, duking it out. But this one was like slow-mo fighting, which just made it more impactful and more grandioso and all that jazz.
Exactly.
I love big monsters fighting, dude.
I'm not usually a fan of big monsters
I
fighting,
love
but
it,
I loved
dude.
it in this case. And also, I kind of liked the fact that, like, Ahmet, I didn't expect Ahmet to like Khonshu as much as she did.
She was about him, dude. She was like, "Yeah, just join my side. It'll be fine."
It kind of makes me feel like Ahmet either had a relationship with Khonshu at one point in time, or they were like good buds, because like,
yeah, I think that they worked together.
Yeah, because I really loved the symmetry there, where it was like it showed how close Ahmet and Khonshu's goals were, and there is only a slight difference in what makes one of them bad and one of them questionably good.
Mm-hmm.
and I really love that kind of mirror. And when she's like choking him out with her tail, and she's like, "We could have had a paradise."
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, like she not just wanted to work with him because it's like together she wouldn't have any obstacles, but like she really wanted to work with him, you know?
Yeah. I think it's probably just because of how OP he is. Because the man, I mean, the god, the bird, he seems pretty freaking powerful.
Yeah, can we talk about how all the other avatars are washed? Like, apparently.
Like, yeah, no, we don't need to. Because that just pissed me off. Yeah, okay. It made me so mad. No, so, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, well, I'm just going to briefly talk about it real quick, okay?
Yeah.
So, in the episode, because we've kind of skipped to the end, but in the episode, Harrow goes to, because they start off like quickly just kind of recapping what's been happening in the real world.
Yeah.
And Harrow goes to the pyramids where the gods meet, and then all the avatars show up, and then we cut away, and they're all dead. Yeah. So Harrow, who apparently wasn't even an avatar before this happened, by the way, all he got was a special staff that now had crocodile head on it. Like, he didn't even... Yeah. He just got upgraded powers because he was holding the statue. He didn't even become the avatar at this point, so he didn't even have avatar powers. He just had his Kang powers.
Was never an avatar.
Yeah, never was.
The whole time.
But I could justify
even when he was fighting Mark.
I could justify him fighting Mark because it's 1v1 and he has a cane. It still was a bit wild to me. Still not an avatar, though. Yeah, it's still wild, but you can still sort of justify it because numbers and a cane, and like there you can do the mental gymnastics.
Yeah.
It's not too crazy. We became Russian Olympians, USSR gymnasts. USSR. Trying to understand what just happened, because you have the fucking avatars, like the council of the high gods.
Yeah.
And all of them just get washed.
He also did say that they were just like spokesmen.
Yeah, so, but like, also like...
but like maybe there's like a difference between like who they pick as their speakers and who they pick as their warriors, you know? I don't know. I'm just speculating. I would imagine that they'd still be cracked. Like, yeah. Either way.
Because they've showed the main dude, bald white dude in a suit who has the gates. I can't remember what the god's name was.
The bald white what?
The god who has the gates that Mark and Steven went through.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know though.
That they showed his avatar using magic several times to bind Mark and Khonshu, and even on Harrow at the very end. So like Harrow did mention you guys are judges, not warriors. And it's like, okay, well, cool, yeah, that might be what they do now because they don't get involved. They've never had to be warriors because they don't involve themselves anymore. Yeah. But you cannot tell me that the gods didn't give them powers, because they obviously did, because this dude just cast magic hands. On multiple times. So like they have powers, whether they're well trained in them or not. Like, you could make the argument that Harrow's training and the cane makes him equal to like 2 of them, but all 5 of them, they're nah.
Oh no, I agree, dude. I thought it was pretty stupid.
And also, if you're gonna kill them, at least let me see. Like, that's kind of what annoyed me, was the fact that it just like
the
fast
whole last
forward.
episode was pretty much like that, though.
Yeah,
it's like the whole budget went into monster fighting.
I will say, what the stuff that bothered me, I feel like I got more enjoyment out of than being annoyed, if that makes sense. Like, I enjoyed the episode more than being upset at the episode, but the things that upset me a lot, if that makes sense.
Oh no, I get it. I will definitely agree with that one. I think I'll run with the theme. The scales were not balanced.
No. Okay. No. So this is the big thing that we talked about last week, about bad writing and good writing in Mark and Steven, and I was talking to our buddy E last week too, over the weekend.
Yeah.
About, I don't know how the writers are going to write Steven back in, and as much as I like Steven, I kind of hope they don't. I'm going to be honest, now that we know how they did it, I like it. It didn't bother me. I thought it was gonna. I
still didn't.
I thought the writing of it was not as weak. I will say, to make it work, they had to kill a god's avatar. So then the god was like, okay, I guess I'll help you. And then he shined the light on them and stuff. But like the fact that Mark gave up his like eternal sunshine to go save Steven and then failed, and then they both turned into stone, I was like, okay, like, you didn't just revive Mark and then like, my brain, bring him back, you know, like there was something, like, you still kept true to the lore and what you already pre-established. You weren't breaking your own rules, which I appreciated that, you know what I mean? And that's the big thing. It felt like they were going to have to break rules to bring back Steven, and they didn't.
I kind of feel like they did, because it just, like, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, he comes back because Mark's like, it's okay. And then puts his own heart in Steven's hand, and then they both become alive again.
Yeah,
I was like,
they don't.
Sick.
So they don't become alive because of Mark. Mark did nothing. Mark just puts his hand in his heart and holds him, and then they die together. Mark did nothing. It was the fact that the light of Heliod shined on them, which is still a little questionable in writing. I'll give you that, because we don't really know much about Heliod, and that's the god's name, by the way, I was trying to remember earlier. Heliod, we don't really know much about his powers or what the gates of Heliod do or anything about that, but the moment that the light of Heliod from the gates shined on them, that's when his heart grew and they de-stonedified. That is what brought them back, not anything Mark did. Even though it happened so quickly that it might as well have been Mark that did it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if that's how I saw it, I can happily say that that's how a lot of people interpreted it.
Yeah.
I just saw a monologue and hearts being placed in hands saying, like, we can do it together, essentially. Not saying that that's what it was, but like, it's what it felt like.
It's super. You know? Well, that's what it felt like. That's 100% true.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, whether that's not the story canon thing, it's what it pretty much was. They just were tricky with it by killing off Heliod's avatar, then being like, okay, you're in front of the gates open. And at first, when the gates opened, I was like, the fuck is this? Did Mark just will his way, like, into victory? And then the hippo goddess is like, oh, Heliod, you softy. And I'm like, okay, so once again, Disney, you're going to make me assume so fucking much. But am I to assume that the god saw them, agreed that they're their only chance of survival, opened the gates, and because his god powers opened gates, they survived? Am I to... Okay, I will make these leaps. I see the hints that you laid that explain this pretty easily to jump to, but also the fact that I have to, like, there's like a thing in movies and TV shows where it's show don't tell. They showed too much and told nothing, Eric.
It's Osiris.
Osiris, not Heliod. Heliod's a god of something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Osiris, yes. You're correct. Osiris. I apologize. But yeah, no, they showed too much and told nothing. But they told just enough that we can assume pretty easily what happened, but it still doesn't change the fact of how the scene felt and how probably most people interpreted it, like how you did.
Yeah, because, like, even look, like, Googling it, like, I just said, like, how did Mark and Steven come back to life? It just says, after an emotional speech during which he tells Steven he was his only superpower, Mark manages to free his altar, and then they run through the gates of Osiris, bringing them back to the real world.
Oh, well.
So, like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Dude, Mark, but that doesn't make sense to me. Because
that's what I'm saying.
The heart didn't grow until the gates
opened. The gates opened because I think that they were pretty much saying, like, Mark is being himself now. I don't know. Like, he's ready for his second chance.
I liked my interpretation better.
No, I do too. Dude.
I think my interpretation has decent writing.
It's got more lore to it.
Yeah. Not even decent. It has writing in it. It's not
and
just
theirs
the will
is just
friendship.
like after a heartfelt speech, somehow Mark swayed Osiris's gates open. Okay, cool. Sick.
Okay, I might have to revise my feelings about this episode now.
It was an interesting one. It was really, like, honestly, we should... Okay, so next Wednesday is gonna be our big, like, overarching episode of the whole show, just for a little preface of next week.
Yeah,
I'm going to rewatch the entire show.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing.
I don't know if I'll have time, but I definitely will. I'll rewatch.
You should at least watch the first, third, and sixth.
Yeah, 100%.
Just so you can get, like,
overall
the beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna rewatch this whole thing just so I can have, like, a good full opinion, because this show, in my opinion, really had two sides to it, just like Mark and Steven. I loved it, and I absolutely had to ask the question, well, how does that make sense?
Yeah, I will say that,
like, like, the fact that the end scene is Harrow in the asylum.
Yeah, I
don't understand
like
that because it just doesn't make sense, because we are told that asylum is Mark's
mental place,
prison. But
when he's dead, by the way,
Jake,
not when he's alive. When he's dead.
When he's dying, that's his escape realm, essentially.
Yeah,
then he kills Harrow in real life, and then kills him in his mind. But then Jake and Khonshu drive off into a city in his brain. So is the place actually real? And then is the, like, because you know how I was saying, like, the whole conspiracy of, like, it's an alternate universe, because now Marvel is getting into, like, alternate universes and, multi-dimensional things. And, like, I'm starting to think that is a possibility.
I hope not, just because they didn't really...
But they don't need to.
They didn't talk about it whatsoever.
This is their first show that's like, oh, this is mental health. So they had to make it look like
trippy.
Like, yeah, they had to make it look creepy and, like, kind of trippy, and, like, for it to not make sense so that it can be explained in later seasons. I'm not saying that's what it is, but, like, that's my, like, because it just doesn't make any sense to how Jake and Conchu were driving away. That's the part that I don't get. Like, how did he leave his own mind prison? Like, is it a real place? Because it has to be a real place.
How did Harrow get locked in his mind prison?
That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense.
Because my understanding of it, not even as a mind prison, as a I am dead going to the afterlife place.
Yeah. If that is his place, how does Jake and Conchu get into it?
He just imagined Harrow there because Harrow is such an important part of his life.
Yeah.
But then after Conchu and Steven and Mark break up, they
quote unquote
break up. They go to, once again, that insane asylum, but this time Steven and Mark in unison pretty much tell Harrow to go fork off.
Can we both agree that part was amazing? Him switching between both accents at the same time.
I love that.
Okay.
And good acting.
Continue though. Yes, continue though. Sorry.
So anytime Mark and Steven switch back and forth really quickly, absolute fan. Absolute
yeah, but that was
fan.
that was like the first time that we got to like see it
with
in
like
the same
sentence.
shot.
Well, no, we've seen it in the same shot. We just haven't seen it like
we've seen them
through.
in the same shot, but it's always been like through a reflection.
No,
or like
when
like one immediately takes over, and then we just see him. Like we never see them like have a conversation with the same face.
Yeah, because like Layla, when she comes in the suit, Mark talks to her first, and then Steven takes over. He's like, "Wow."
Yeah, but
good.
That's in the
like,
suit.
Steven's still gonna Mr. Steal Your Girl, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Steven.
But that's like in the suit, so you can like tell that
when
it's
they
like
switch.
So yeah, but like when it's just him acting, like his whole face changes.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
From an acting perspective, I agree. I really like that scene.
So cool.
From a understanding what the hell is going on, I really don't like that scene. I really don't like that scene. And now knowing the end, and now know because what happens, audience, is he shows up in the Mind Palace. Haru's telling him that it's all fake. He's like, "Do you believe in Khonshu? Do you believe in Amit?" And Haru's like,
"Yeah."
Huh? And he's like, "Well, I do." And then he stands up and he's like, "Fuck you." And then he wakes up in his bed, and then Mark and Steven.
Haru's foot is bleeding.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And he walks over to his chair and he's like, "What's happening?" And then Steven and Mark are both like, "Well, I'm gonna like wake up or whatever kind of thing." And then they wake up in the bed, which is then like, was it all fake?
Dude! Okay, so I wasn't
Was
the
it
only
all
one.
a dream? Are we Inception?
So
dun dun dun.
I really don't think it is fake just because Steven and Mark are fluently talking to each other.
Yeah. But it made you think that, right?
It did make me think that, because how the fuck did they get back in their bed? If Lila took them home, let's say Lila just like mama picked up child and carried him into bed.
Yeah, I was expecting her to be asleep in the bed.
Same. She wouldn't have ankle braced them to the wall and sand shit. Like, she doesn't know Steven's routine. She wouldn't have done that. Yeah. And so like I was really confused about like, okay, I don't want to get into overall opinions about the TV show too much, because that's what this main episode of the Noah podcast will be. But I feel like this finale did a really good job of encompassing my feeling of the show. A lot of good, a polarizing good, and polarizing bad.
It almost made you feel like it was a split personality.
Dude, but that's the thing, like TV shows that do like mental health have done it, even in a superhero realm, have done this way better. Way better.
Yeah,
like,
there's one called Legion.
We literally were thinking of the same show.
Legions is amazing.
I was building up to it. Yeah. Dude. Legion.
First season. Okay, I'll say first season is amazing, and then it progressively gets a little worse. Yeah, in my opinion.
I didn't finish the second season, but
it just gets progressively worse.
The first season does the whole like
beautiful.
The whole switching back and forth between a fake psychiatric hospital and you don't know what's real and what you don't know what's fake, and being chased by the boogeyman. It does it so well.
Honestly,
like it's scary well.
It's a pretty. I'm gonna rewatch that season of Legion. I could say it's a more like PG-13 version of Moon Knight. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I feel like there's a lot of like similarities
in the way that,
in the sense of like what we're talking about.
Yeah, in the way that Moon Knight has probably more straight blood, maybe, yeah, but like I feel like Legion.
Well, there's more adult themes in Legion.
Yeah, I was gonna say Legion has way more adult themes, and Legion is way more intense in my opinion. Like Moon Knight breaks it up with comedy, so then you're not really
sadly.
that on the edge. Where Legion, I like legitimately was like scared at points,
psyched out,
and super psyched out, and like there's multiple characters that you just like revisionist history on it. Like there's multiple characters in the first season.
Such a
you're
good
like,
show.
Like I don't know, like there's a character you think that's your friend, and then it turns out to be a boogeyman, and then turns out to be a friend again, and you're like, I don't, and like you don't know what's in his head and what's not in his head, and then but here's the thing. Here's the big difference between Legion and Moon Knight. They explain it all, and it all makes sense in Legion.
I think in a second season of
in Moon Knight it doesn't. Yeah, but also, like, you could have explained it all, and then it would all made sense and been good writing if you had added 3 more episodes. You didn't need, like, Legion was like a 10 to 12 episode season, I'm fairly certain.
I think it was 10.
Legion
or longer.
Episode...
It might have been, like, 15.
I want to say 12... 20, okay, no, that is all 27
8
of 3 seasons. That's not what I want.
Well, I just divided by 3.
Well, they might not do an even count because they don't. Season 1 is 8 episodes, and then season 2 is 11 episodes. Season 3 is 8 episodes. So 8 episodes. That's still 2. It's not 3 more, but it's still 2 more episodes than what we got. And honestly, 2 more hours would have done the show so well. 2 more hours could have filled out so many more little plot holes that I feel like they had to rush over, or things they just had, not even plot holes, but things they had to rush over, like just killing the gods really quickly, so then it made sense for Osiris to help them, you know, like those things could have been explained and fleshed out way more if just in 2 more episodes.
May I correct you? I don't know if you just said did you say flushed out or flushed out?
I said flushed.
It's flesh.
Fleshed? Okay.
Yes. I was going to do that when we recorded last time, but you said it so many times that I was just like, well, if I say it now, I'm just going to be a dick. Because I let you say it so many times that I just didn't say anything about it. But now, since you said it for the first time, I now feel like a good person for correcting you. Yes, it is flesh. Thank you.
Flesh. Yes. Oh, dude, I say so many sayings like slightly
different. It's okay. It's what I'm here for.
Oh, dude, no, it's okay. I'm gonna build my brand on saying common sayings that everyone knows, but just slightly different.
Yeah.
And
every time you say flesh out, I'm just like, I understand, but no.
It's not that. It's not that. Want to hold off on doing that. Do you have any final details on this last episode of The Moon Knight?
No, that was such an Eric thing.
So real quick, you can cut this out if you'd like to.
On Monday, and then the second
30th.
episode will be released on the 3rd.
Yep.
And then
you'll
third episode the 10th, and then blah 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 blah. We repeat.
Yep.
And then look at there goes all through June.
I am so excited. Oh, the Star Wars nerd in me is so fucking excited.
If you've made it this far, give us some good shows that we could possibly try and watch and review. Because more content is more content. And I'm always down to watch new shows that I haven't watched, or talk about shows that we've already watched. So
don't be afraid to engage. We would love your suggestions, and we can tell you why they're bad suggestions.
And if you don't want to comment on a video,
You can tweet at us at.
Or you can DM us. Or if you listener have a personal number of ours, text us. But I would much rather have engagement over the interwebs.
Here is the way I would like you, non-social media user, follower and listener who I don't want you getting my number. You can email us at.
Oh God, no.
What? You don't want people emailing us?
No.
We have an email.
No.
You can email us. Podcast
email us? No.
At gmail.com.
No, do not. If you do, I promise it will go straight to spam.
I'm gonna be honest, I never checked that email, so
I know you don't. I'm the only one that probably does.
I mean, I will start now.
Fuck. Well, have fun with that.
Okay, but yeah, I got a piece. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Noted Podcast. You can follow us at A Noted Podcast on Twitter. Tweet at us, tell us the movies and TV shows you want us to watch, engage with us. I will always tweet back. You can comment on any of our videos on YouTube at The Noted Podcast. Please follow, like, and subscribe, and then also share. It really helps us up. And then you can also,
we should start saying that.
What?
Prescribe to us.
Is that what I said?
I don't know, that's what I heard.
Okay, well, subscribe, all the ibs, and then please follow us on Spotify. Please follow us on Spotify as well, Spotify, and listen to us there. So you guys have a fantastic day. This has been the final episode out of 6 of the Moon Knight, and we'll have our final wrap up this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Adios. Okay, bye.